When you invest money, time, and effort into yourself consistently, you will quickly begin to see your worth.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the I Got This podcast with LEX and MGP. My name is Lex, and I've been a personal trainer over the last 5 years. Martha started her fitness journey with me 3 years ago, and over that time, she's lost over 60 pounds and changed her entire perspective on life. Join us each and every week as we talk about our journey together, healthy lifestyle habits, and of course, the I Got This mentality.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to I Got This podcast with LEX and MGP. Today we are talking about investing in yourself, not just money, time, effort, thought, and all that good stuff. Martha brought this topic to the table. Literally. As we sit at the table. So she's kind of take a lead on this topic today. It's something I definitely agree with, but when she was talking about it, I was like, I think this one's yours.
Well, the thought behind this episode was I was having a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about how to get your actions to line up with your behaviors and your thoughts and all those things that go together. And she's just was kind of pumping me for information on how I do that, how my confidence has led me to these, behaviors I've had over the last few years. And really, I was like, is it the confidence that created the behaviors or the behaviors creating the confidence? And we kind of debated back and forth both of those points of view. And I think they're both actually true. So do the behaviors really reflect our actions and how we think about ourselves, or the other way around?
Is it the chicken or the egg?
Kind of, exactly. So we were talking about just even like little things. So she was feeling not very confident right now and struggling with that. And we talked about just even doing something simple like adjusting your posture, standing tall, and you'll feel better. So is it when you feel better, you stand tall, or if you stand tall, will you feel better? And we were kind of playing with that, she and I, when we were debating some of these other things we'll talk about, but it's true. And I find that even myself, that if I'm having a day where I'm feeling really confident and I like the way I look that day, I do find that my shoulders are, back and I'm standing tall and I'm not slunched over and all those things. So it sounds kind of minute, really, but just standing tall, you feel better.
Have you listened to much Tony Robbins before? Right. So at his conferences, and he is like the OG guru of your, mental health and self-confidence and building, the best version of yourself. And he is the person who I think pioneered that when you stand like a superhero, shoulders down and back, hands on your hips, taking up space, you actually are the person, you become what that posture, when you build that posture, even if you're not feeling it, your attitude will change immediately. Your mental state will change immediately.
It's the hero stance.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think you do that a lot being a teacher. I see you when we're training even.
You'll tell me to stop it.
No, I don't mind that. I think when you're crossing your arms, I tell you to stop. I'm like, stop crossing your arms. You got to breathe.
I'm not getting ready to scold you, I promise.
I know, but not that one. It's when your hands are on your hip and you're nice, your base is wide. Because I think that's a teacher's stance, right? Because you're kind of overviewing a large room. I, as a trainer, do the same thing because I'm watching. But it is said they say, as soon as you change your physiology, your emotions and your attitude will change abruptly. Your mind follows your physiology. So there is a little bit of fake it till you make it. Definitely with physiology affecting your mental attitude. And that's one of the first things we teach our clients, or, my company and I teach my clients when they're training, is your basic stance. How do you walk around? How should you start to shift your physiology in a manner that affects your brain? So definitely taking that big deep breath, rolling your shoulders down and back. So you're releasing tension from your neck and your shoulders, drawing attention to your core, engaging that core, bending your knees so your legs are not like locked out all the time. And your back isn't arching. And as soon as you start to shift your physiology, 100% your confidence is going to follow, for sure. Without a doubt.
I mean, you've worked on this with me since the beginning.
Yeah.
We have worked on that. And posture and standing up straight and some of those little things that I know that I will do. And I know that I even slouch over a little bit, not when you're trying to hide, but kind of like,
right.
You're not mentally trying to hide, or consciously trying to hide, but you'll do it.
If you're not feeling confident, you're going to try to not be seen by the world, by anybody. But if you're trying to build that confidence, physiology begins and emotion follows for sure. The other way is to increase your physiology if you're like not feeling it, just your breath, right? Mm-hmm. I know you've said this a million times. To me, it's so funny. You're like, I don't use that mindfulness thing on my watch.
Right. I've been trying though. Ever since we talked about meditation a couple episodes ago.
I like that. But just taking a big, deep breath, deep inhale. Everybody, let's do it together. Inhale. Yeah. Holding that breath in for 2 seconds and deep, shallow exhale. That can affect like how much oxygen you have in your body. Because when you're, sad, you have these low, shallow breaths. And what it does is it decreases your heart rate because you're taking low, shallow breaths kind of like you're sleeping or when you're sad. But when you start to take that big, deep breath, your heart starts pumping a little bit. You're getting your blood flowing. So you truly are changing your physiology. And when your blood starts flowing to parts of your body, it's flowing to your brain. So therefore, you're going to be a little bit more energized. So just your breath can make a very small dent in your attitude or your confidence or your mental state, and doing that consistently and repeatedly day in and day out. I know people forget about it all the time. Like I know my clients are like, you want me to stand like this 24/7? It's so uncomfortable. But if you constantly try to remember, it'll become a habit.
Right. Yeah. And I've even sitting at my desk and, I have a job where sometimes I'm sitting at a desk and sometimes I'm up and moving. But when I'm sitting at my desk, I've been conscious lately of sitting up with proper posture at my desk. And not only because you get hunched and your neck and back will, if you're over a computer, but also I just feel like I project more of a teacher role. I mean, more of the authority in the room. Right. And I'm not an authoritarian teacher either. I have a very good relationship with the kids, but it's just that position where you try to put yourself as being the confident one in the room.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. How you present yourself is like physiology wise, just like a peacock.
Yep.
Right. Just
exactly.
When you're trying to show off. But I do think you're right. Physiology does come first. I think your breath matters. I think shoulders down and back, kind of just on a day-to-day basis.
Now we're both straightening up.
You're still there. But trying to remind yourself of that will help. But it goes back to, I'd like to find the link. I'll link it to our next reel, our next post. The Tony Robbins description of it is the best way. You will start to change your mindset when you start to, just remind yourself to change your stance.
Yep.
How you're breathing, how you're standing. Yeah.
So we had talked about that when I was having this conversation with my friend. And then this may sound superficial, but we also started talking about sharpening your appearance. And I don't necessarily mean that you have to put on airs or go out and get expensive designer clothes or anything like that, but just making sure that you're not wearing a shirt that's missing a button or has a stain on it, making sure that your shoes aren't muddy. Maybe today you put on a little mascara. Just these little things, run a brush through your hair, that can, and it sounds, like I said, kind of superficial, but at the end of the day, that you feel better when you look better.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can just be something as simple as, I know I feel really good when I wear this particular outfit and I want to have a lot of confidence today. So that's the outfit I'm going to wear.
It's funny. I think we've talked about this in tidbits in past, and I definitely agree. I think it goes down to number one, cleanliness. Absolutely. Like, do you brush your teeth before you get into work or
you would hope.
speak to somebody, right? Are you taking care of yourself outside of before you get ready? Like, are you doing, I honestly believe that I do like a 15-minute skincare routine. I know that sounds ridiculous, but throughout the day, it makes me feel better because I'm putting time and effort into my skin. And I'm like, oh, wait, it looks just a little bit better, like a little bit better than if I didn't do that. And I think that builds my facial confidence because I know everybody tries everything with skin, but just like that little bit of effort makes me feel more confident.
Right.
Because I took time to take care of myself.
Oh, absolutely. And it does pay off because then you'll have that inner glow or whatever going on.
And even if it doesn't really change your skin, does 15 minutes of skincare really change my skin? Like probably, I don't know.
It probably does though.
It might.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And think about just getting even like a haircut.
Yeah.
If you get a haircut and you really like it, you feel confident walking around with that.
Absolutely.
Or a manicure or a new shirt or whatever it is. But these things, like I said, they can sound superficial, but it's really about self-respect and pride.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're taking the pride in your appearance, you're respecting yourself enough to go that extra step, whether it's a skincare routine or getting enough sleep, or
it's just crossing your T's and dotting your I's. I feel like it's saying, taking that little extra step and saying, okay, well, I don't like these pants and how they make me feel. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel the nice pair, like your standard of clothing.
It's kind of funny that you're saying that, but I did invest in like a lot more expensive undergarments, and you do feel better because they're not, they're not riding, they're not uncomfortable, they're not whatever pinching you, depending. And yes, just having that makes all the difference.
I haven't done this yet, but it's something I've been truly thinking about. Because I have started to invest in my wardrobe a little bit more and like really take pride in my outfits. I went to like a baby shower today. I was so excited about it, like the outfit that I was going to wear. I forgot about the shoes. I was walking around my house, and you know how like you think about the whole outfit, and then it comes to the end, and you're like, shit, I don't have shoes. I don't have shoes that match, that look right. So it's funny, but I haven't done this yet. But I'd like to go through my closet. You said you cleaned out yours
yesterday.
I like that. But probably a rule of thumb, like I'd like to be like, okay, have I worn this in the last 6 months? And if so, then I'm going to keep it. And if not, I'm going to toss it. And then from there, I'll create a pile of clothes that I actually feel confident in and things that I'm like, do I really like this, or I'm just wearing this because I don't want to buy a new one?
Or I don't want to do laundry sometimes.
Sometimes for sure. And then I'll maybe create a pile of the clothes that I don't feel confident in, and then I'll slowly, over the next year or two, like start to replace those items. Okay, maybe I can get a new pair of these leggings that make me feel confident, like that type of thing.
Well, what I actually did yesterday, and I don't even remember who taught me this hack. I saw it somewhere years ago, but I took everything out of my closet, rotated it for seasonal reasons. And, the summer stuff that I'm obviously not going to wear again until, 6 months from now was packed away and actually in my son's closet because he's gone. But I hung everything back up that's seasonal, and I flipped the hangers around. So the hangers are backward in the closet. And once I wear something and it goes back on the hanger, it gets laundered, it comes that way. So I can keep track all season what I've worn or not.
Oh, I like that.
And I did that in the summer, and the stuff that was still flipped backward, I'm like, I didn't wear it. I didn't wear it from April till now. I'm not going to wear it.
Yeah.
Unless it's something like I have a couple dresses that are like black tie type, that's different. But I'm just talking regular everyday clothes. If I didn't wear it in 6 months, these past 6 months, I'm not going to wear it next summer.
That's like a great rule of thumb. I like
Especially if it's stuff that fits and there's a reason I didn't wear it.
Yeah.
So I don't feel good in it. I don't like it. So it went into the, donate pile. And it's gone. And it felt good to purge it out because guess what? I don't even feel bad about it because I know I'm not going to wear it.
I do like the wave of minimalism, like getting rid of anything you don't need. It feels clean. It feels fresh.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's kind of fun having the hangers backward too, because I play a game with myself. What am I going to wear to work tomorrow? I can't wear something that's already turned around. I got to wear something that's on the backward hangers.
I like that.
And then, you realize how many different outfits you actually have when you start mixing and matching that stuff.
That's a good rule of thumb. I like that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a fun little,
I'm going to try that.
Fun little game.
This winter, maybe.
Yeah. Well, my husband owns, and he's probably going to hate this because he listens, but he owns probably 800, not really, but it seems like it, golf shirts. We launder frequently in our house. So I actually got him to do that. And he started wearing all these different ones. And then we figured out, well, these ones are too big now. You don't need this one. This one's got, snagged. So it's the same kind of game, but.
Yeah, kind of tossing out the old, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because you just get in the habit of just leaving it in there.
I feel like clothes are just a big one for sure. Like, just like you said, do those pants have a stain, or like does that shirt? I have like a shirt that I wear even though it's stained, and I don't care because I like the shirt.
Right.
But like that little stain makes a big difference. It is crossing your T's, dotting your I's. I think.
Or if it's faded, it might have been your favorite at some point, but now it's faded. It's got to go.
I like
it's
that.
Served its purpose.
It definitely does affect your confidence. Like you don't realize it on a day-to-day. And then what thing I've been doing a lot more recently, and I wish I did this sooner. It's a tiny little thing. I hate bad breath. I hate bad breath. I think it's
on yourself or others. No,
on myself
I'm
and
just
others.
kidding.
Do you remember during COVID when you would wear a mask and you'd put it on your face and you'd be like, oh, I've been walking around like this?
I'm sorry, people.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It was a very eye-opening experience for me. I was like, oh my God, sorry if I had that breath. But now I have this new keen sense of smell. And if I smell bad breath, I'm like, oh my God. So I bring mouthwash wherever I go. I bring gum wherever I go. And now I do it in between every time I talk to a new person or a session, every single time.
Ooh, I'm going to be on the lookout now.
Yeah. Wait, for what? My bad breath? Yeah, if I have it, tell me, because then I definitely didn't mouthwash that good enough. But honestly, I think those little things make a huge difference. In my own confidence, I walk into a conversation knowing I have good breath. I'm like, I smell good. And I'm putting a little spray of perfume on. And then those are obviously deodorant. We all wear that all the time, I hope.
You would hope. I teach in high school, not everybody.
Young men, let's learn that soon.
It was actually worse in the middle school. They figure it out usually by high school.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But I do think those little things, those cleanliness hacks, make a huge difference, because then you don't walk in like, oh my God, I might smell.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're self-confident about, or you're self-aware sometimes, and sometimes not about that. So.
Oh my God. Yeah.
There are a lot of people when you're walking around the gym, you're like, ooh.
I know. And I mean,
I get it. If you're sweating, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think
it's rough.
At a gym, it's different. Like, you're going to smell, because if you're working hard, you're sweating hard, obviously. So it's a little bit different. It shouldn't smell. There's a sweat stink and there's like a BO stink.
Yes.
They're two very different
Very
things.
different. That's what exactly.
So you'll know the difference. Like, okay, you're at the end of the workout, you worked really hard, you smell a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's fine. But I definitely think those little things like make a really, really big difference in my confidence.
No, I can see that for sure.
They do.
I like it. Something else I was thinking about too is doing things for others. And it can be little things, really, just some genuine kindness toward other people, and take the focus off yourself sometimes. That can actually create more confidence in yourself, because the reaction you get when you do something genuinely kind and unexpected for someone, and it can be minor, it pays back threefold, I think. And, it could be something as simple as someone posts something. And so you take the time to make a little comment like, oh, you look so pretty today, or whatever it is, and if you focus on others, I just find that I feel better about myself. And so that one was another one that I was talking about with my friend, and because she was just feeling, kind of down in the dumps and feeling, bad about herself. And I said, well, let's focus on others. And I felt better because I was focusing on her. So maybe that was selfish at the same time, but I think that helps.
I do believe when you stop talking and start listening more to others, your confidence increases tenfold. I really do. I think when you stop focusing on your life, and I think it's a very immature thing to, when we're in our younger years, like our teen years and our early 20s, we think the world revolves around ourselves. But when you start focusing on making other people feel confident, helping other people feel like welcome and loved, you stop focusing on how you feel, you stop thinking like, oh, I'm the worst looking person in the room, or I'm clearly the least confident, or people in this room don't like me. When you stop focusing on how you feel and you start focusing on how you make other people feel, like making them feel welcome or heard or anything else, it's weird. Yes, it increases your confidence, but you also ignore how you feel, because it doesn't matter. It shouldn't. How you make others feel matters, right?
Yeah. And honestly, when you make other people feel good, then they really want to be around you. And so it kind of comes back in the way, as opposed to you trying to project some sort of fake facade onto them. So that's really what I've noticed too.
I definitely agree with that 100%. I think that's when maturity kicked in for me, when I was like, oh, stop talking. Just stop. And I think when I stopped talking and listened more, that's when I started to actually gain real confidence. And
you make those connections.
Yeah, more connections.
When you make connections with people, that's when you get confident.
Yeah. You also start to realize, like, at some point, and I feel like obviously this is everlasting for all of us. Like, I have to constantly remind myself this every day. People are not worried about me. They don't care. People don't care about you. They care about themselves. People are more worried about themselves than they are than anybody else. And when we all start to realize that, then we stop feeling as self-conscious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, to a point. I mean, obviously there are people we care about.
Oh, yeah.
But I know what you're saying. People aren't thinking about you as much as you think they're thinking about you.
Exactly.
Like people aren't judging you. Maybe that's a better word for it. As much as you think that they are judging you.
Exactly. You think that people are thinking about you 10 times more than they actually are.
Yes. Like when you're going somewhere, what are people going to think about what I'm wearing or what I look like or whatever it is. And you know what? No one's thinking that.
And it's so funny because we each have those scenarios in our life that we feel the most insecure or certain groups of people.
And that doesn't go away.
No, it never does. There's always like that one person. I don't know, like my older cousin was always so intimidating to me until I was probably like 25. I'm 27. And I realized like, oh, this person cares more about herself. She's not looking at me. And I was always like so worried about what this person thought of me.
Trying to measure up to her standards.
Yeah. And one day I just realized, oh, this person doesn't care at all.
I could literally do anything.
And no, it never will notice. It's like that one person that you're always worried about judging you or something like that, or a group of people, or if you're heading into a new scenario that you've never been in. I was talking about the baby shower. I went to a baby shower. I've been to 2 this summer, and I didn't know who was going to be there. I only knew a small group of people, and you always get a little self-conscious, like, well, I have somebody to talk to. I'm worried about how I'm going to feel, but in reality, if you sit there and focus on the people around you, because people are nicer than you think too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like who's just going to be, well, I guess there could be people, but who's just going to
be a few assholes in the
Right.
world.
That's what I'm saying. Who's going to be truly obnoxious?
Out of 10 people that you sit down next to.
Yeah.
I bet one of them is going to be one of them might be an asshole, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So if all 10 are, change tables.
Yeah, exactly. Then you got to get up and walk away.
It's not rude if you leave.
Right. Or at a party or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've all been there, but your own insecurities take over sometimes.
Exactly.
And that's what we all have to remember. We all have them.
Oh, absolutely. I think it never goes away at any age. You just have to constantly remind yourself, like, this is who I am, and I'm proud to be who I am, and the people who want to be around me love me for me.
Exactly. And it doesn't ever go away, but I can personally attest that it does get easier, though. So your insecurities are still there. I'm not going to say I don't ever go into a situation where I'm feeling insecure or overwhelmed or worried about what people are going to think or, oh, shoot, there's that Martha again. And they're not even thinking that. They don't probably even know I'm there, but whatever. But I've come to realize, I know you say that every time I show up at the gym. Shoot, MGP's here again.
I'm going to say that when you walk in tomorrow. Oh, shoot, there's that Martha again.
Someone cover me.
I liked that line. Oh, shoot, there's that Martha again.
Here she comes.
I like that one. Oh, my God.
But that's what you're thinking in your head, right? And no one's really saying that. That was my point on that one. That's what we got.
I thought that made me laugh. I had to say something. But yes.
But you're a good faker, though, because every time I show up, you seem genuinely happy to see me.
I really am, though.
But it doesn't go away, is my point. But I have come to realize that everyone else in the room is probably feeling just as nervous or insecure as I am. So, we've talked many times, many episodes about my whole fearless mentality now. And part of that is doing things even when you are full of fear or feeling insecure, but doing them anyway. And that's where I've gotten better in the last couple of years. Group of people I don't know, I walk up, I introduce myself. If they seem to be rude or, like you said, assholes, then I just excuse myself and go on to the next group. And that's okay. And I've come to deal with not what's wrong with me, but, that's their loss.
Yes.
And that took some years to realize that's their loss because I have a lot to offer. So, and that's the mentality we have to sometimes fake until we can get to.
I know. Yeah, I think faking it till you make it is a very real thing sometimes. I mean, in certain areas.
And, this kind of, we're going back to our conversation about behaviors here. I've tried to really, in the last few years, bring more fun and joy into the things that I do. And, it can be just humor. Now, obviously, it has to be appropriate depending on your environment and the situation you're in. But you don't want to be the person that dampens the mood.
Yeah.
Or the Debbie Downer, so to speak. Yeah. If you enjoy or project enjoyment, then people are going to enjoy being with you.
That's a good one. I like that.
And I think that, we all have those negative Nellies, whether it's at work or whatever, that you're just like, oh, I can't do it. And I actually said that to someone about a week ago. I can't do the negativity right now. So I'm going to excuse myself and go join this other group.
Wow. I respect you so much for that.
And they were just like taken aback a little bit.
Did you call them a negative? You're being a little bit of a negative Nelly.
I did not.
Now.
I just said I am not in a place where I can do a bunch of negativity and complaining right now. So I'm going to go and eat lunch with this other group.
Oh, I like that. Wow. Good for you.
So, and that's what I meant. They were kind of like, in my own head, back to what are people thinking? I was thinking.
I said that to my family straight up. You're being a bit negative right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes.
Oh, what did I say? This is funny. Sorry, I'm just taking it off.
No, go.
I said something funny. Oh, I was talking to an older group of gentlemen that I trained. Not older, they're in their 50s, whatever.
Super young still.
Older than I is what I mean.
Which is probably a lot of your clients, but anyway.
Yes, exactly. And I said, he said, one of them said, he was picking up a set of weights. And he said, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be realistic, and picked up a set of what he was capable to do. And then I said, I hate that statement. And then my other client, who is a lawyer, said, Alexis, there's something called realistic optimism and realistic, not negativity, but realistic, like negativity. Like there's a positive caution. And it shouldn't have been said. I obviously agreed that man should have set those weights down and gone lighter so that he could proceed with good form.
Sure.
However, I was thinking about it and I was like, I outwardly shun any negativity. If it has anything to do with you can't do that or that doesn't seem like a good idea, I outwardly shun it. And that's how stuck to positivity I am. However, I am clearly learning, and either it's maturity or aging. I'm not sure.
Which kind of go hand in hand sometimes.
I guess they do.
Not always, but yeah.
Sometimes. I was like, oh, you can be negative in a realistic manner. And I'm slowly learning that.
Is it negative, though, or acceptance?
Maybe acceptance.
I mean, if you told me to deadlift 350 pounds, I'm going to probably say I can't, but I'm not trying to be negative.
No, I'm sorry. It wasn't, I shouldn't have said it in terms of weightlifting.
Okay.
It's not really in terms of weightlifting.
Because I'm like, that's not realistic.
No, not realistic. I think it was in a lot of other facets of life, almost even in terms of like other capabilities. I'm not really sure. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was funny. And
it
not
is funny.
Lifting because you can't lift 350 pounds. So I'm not going to be like, yes, you can right now. You're being negative. I'm being more in terms of shunning. Like shunning anything that is I don't know. I'll have to come back to this topic. I'm a very, ignorance to negativity is a good thing in my mind, and I'm slowly surpassing that and understanding realism very slowly.
But I mean, negativity is a mindset a lot of times.
It is. Yeah. I believe so.
We can all have negative thoughts, of course.
Yes.
But we can pivot out of those.
Yes.
And it's different than being realistic.
Or delusional.
Yes.
I think you're on the side of delusion. That's possible. No,
yeah.
But yes, you can switch that mindset and choose who you want to be around, who has a more optimistic, realistic view of the world, and how the people you speak of, like, are the people you around speak highly of others? Are they kind to others? Are they, are they speaking kind about you? Or are they just like, today's Monday?
Right.
That type of person.
Exactly. And there are some people that I truly believe enjoy being miserable. And
do they enjoy it, or is that the only way that they know?
Well, exactly. That's my point. I would describe them as they seem like they enjoy being miserable, or they enjoy complaining.
Yeah. Or it's all they know how to talk about. Like there are certain people I'm like, you literally just don't have anything else to talk about. Like you don't know how to make conversation that's positive.
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
And I don't want to say yay me. I don't like to complain. Not that I don't. I've complained. I've complained to you.
Yeah.
But it's not something I enjoy.
No. You feel gross after. You kind of leave the conversation. You're like, that's icky.
Sometimes once in a while you got to unburden. I get it.
Yeah.
But when that's your habit, And so we're kind of going back to our conversation today, which is really about actions and behaviors. If that's your go-to behavior to be negative and to complain all the time, then your thoughts are going to follow.
Yes. And how you think about, in turn, affects your confidence. How you think about yourself and how you
exactly.
This is pretty cool. The other thing, I wanted to use a word specifically in this podcast today, the word standard.
Okay.
I think you do begin to set a standard for yourself. Whether others are holding you accountable to that standard, which you can choose to be around people who hold you to a higher standard, or you set the standard for yourself. So, like, for instance, we talked about this prior, and we'll talk about this in our next episode, but like my standard once was biting my nails. I'm not saying I stopped, but I'm working on stopping. And every time I repeatedly say, this is not my standard. I will not belittle my body in this way, or spending money. And that's been a big one for me more recently with, the economy, and I'm like spending a ton, right? And I'm like, wait, this can't be my standard. I have a standard of how much I'd like to have in my bank account at a certain time. And that is your standard. So I think when you set your standards high, and you start reaching for those standards, you start to think higher of yourself as well. This high standard is my standard. Therefore, I'm going to reach for it. Therefore, this is how I think about myself.
You're elevating yourself.
Yeah. It's a newer thought to me. That's a new one. I think I started thinking about that within the last month, honestly.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to a couple episodes ago when we talked about goals.
Yeah.
That's a goal, to set these standards and achieve them. So saying no to a bad habit is another way that our behaviors can reflect our mindset. Yeah. And vice versa. Maybe that's something we should talk about in our next episode.
And it will be.
Just say no.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. That was an awesome episode. Confidence is key, baby. And building that is much easier said than done. I think we all constantly struggle with it. I even think with this podcast, I feel like I struggle. I'm like, who are we to have a podcast? Who are we to be able to talk about these topics when in reality, we're just talking about our take on it,
our experience.
And every time I validate it that way, I'm like, well, I'm just talking about how I think about these topics. That's really it. So confidence is investing time, money, effort, working out, your health, taking care of your health could be a standard. And when you start to take care of yourself in terms of your health and your wellness and putting in effort day in, day out, you will definitely feel more confident for sure. So.
And surround yourself with the people that help you achieve those things.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hey guys, thanks for listening this week. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. For more I Got This content, please make sure to follow, like, and share on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or you can always go to our website, igotThisPod.com for more info. As always, thanks for listening. See you next Monday.